I'm really excited to share this interview. Meghan recently had a career transition in a data related field, and she talks about her data career all the way from the beginning, even how she planted the seeds of her career as an undergrad. She also talks about not focusing on the skills that you don't have, but focusing on the skills, the qualities, the attributes that you do have.
All right. Thank you so much for being with me today. I'm so excited to hear about your recent job search and transition.
Yeah, I'm excited to share it with you.
My favorite question to ask everybody is, what was your first job ever?
So my first job was actually at United Way in Ithaca. So I did a lot of nonprofit work before I got into institutional research and higher education. So my first job was more like a project management job at United Way.
All right. I hear that a lot. A lot of people will go from nonprofit to higher ed or higher ed to nonprofit.
At first, it was good to just get that office experience and that administrative experience.
Well, welcome to higher ed, belated. What was it that inspired you to take your career in a data-centric direction?
Yeah, so during my grad program, I worked in student activities for my graduate assistantship. During that time, I was super interested during my whole graduate program in learning data analysis. So I had done a lot of research during my undergrad, and it was a lot of qualitative research. So I was interested in learning more quantitative, like data analysis. So I went to one of my professors and we talked about my interests in diversity and equity issues in higher ed and data analysis. And he helped me put together an independent study that kind of matched all of my interests. Through that independent study, I was able to learn SPSS and analyze a national student leadership survey that the U of R had participated in. That was such a great experience for me. I really liked the way I could use data to help improve programs on campus, especially with a focus on diversity and equity issues, which I was really passionate about.
I really like hearing about that because there's a lot of attention. We spend a lot of attention on the drawbacks for diversity, equity, and inclusion associated with data, especially with artificial intelligence and machine learning.
In some cases, it's hard to kind of get the whole picture if we don't have enough data on certain student populations. But at the same time, when there is enough data, it really does give us great insight into what those students are experiencing on campus.
Well, let's talk about the recent job search and transition. You told me one of your keys to success, or one of your insights, was focus on the skills that you do have rather than the skills that you don't have. And what an amazing nugget of knowledge, first of all. But where was the inspiration for that? How does that sound in practice? And can you say more?
So basically, my first time doing data analysis and getting involved with data was during my graduate program. That was when I realized, I wanted to start pursuing institutional research and working in higher education. So, my experience was a bit more limited when I was applying to my first institutional research job. And I guess I had a little imposter syndrome at the time. Am I qualified to be doing this? I was getting interviews, but I was like, oh my gosh, like this is crazy. Like I don't even have that much experience. But a lot of my mentors at the time still encouraged me to go through the interview process because they said what you had just talked about is focus on the qualities that you can offer, such as your ability to learn skills quickly, enthusiasm, your passion for data. And so those were the things I emphasized in the interview process, and that helped me be confident about the skills I did have.
I hear you talking a lot about grad school and even a little bit of undergrad, a lot of support from faculty. How did you really leverage undergrad and grad for the long-term career?
Throughout undergrad, I didn't know exactly what I wanted to do for a career, but I spent a lot of my time making connections with people, like you said, just building a network and kind of keeping a list of everyone I was in contact with. Along with that, getting involved in research, volunteer opportunities, anything I could really find that I felt was guiding me in the direction that I wanted to go in.
Oh, wow. It's so nice when things line up that way, just they fall into place. I mean, it takes some planning, but you make it seem so effortless too.
It definitely took a lot of planning, and my professors were great at suggesting these sorts of things, like maybe pick one or two topics to focus on for your final papers, and suggesting that I could use my thesis as a writing sample for the job search process. That was so great to know.
Yeah, that's so helpful. If there was a course or a semester that you could do over again, what would you do? And would you do it the same or would you do it differently?
So I was thinking, I think in undergrad, I would like to have taken more stats classes. It was something I was interested in, so I wish I had kind of pursued that more, because I think now in data. I think it's good to have that like base knowledge of stats.
Yeah, I mean, I've made a career out of statistics, and I definitely wish I started my statistics journey much earlier in my life. So we're in the same boat on that one. Thank you so much for doing this interview. If folks want to learn more about you, where should they go?
You can definitely check out my LinkedIn.
I'll get links to that in the video description.
I really hope you enjoyed meeting Meghan as much as I did. I hope you learned something, I hope you had a little bit of fun, and I look forward to seeing you in another video. Don't forget, you're more ready than you think you are. Hit subscribe, check out these other videos, and let's connect. I look forward to being in touch.